Welcome to Reseller News. My name is Rjpasini. Today is June 25th, 2018. Today I just want to go over a few things. Just want to touch bases on the no views issue. Just to let everybody know, the system is still down for those who don't know. If those who haven't checked their listings out, you may want to check those out. Instead of having zeros on my listings, I just have little dashes on them now. So the problem is still ongoing. And apparently it got to the point where it even made it to ecommercebytes.com, and I'm going to go jump into that screen and we're going to talk a little about it, what's going on, touch a little bases about the online sales tax that's going to be eventually, I guess, implemented. I don't know exactly when, but they figure at the end of June, which we're coming up very close. Like I said, today is June 25th. So I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, but it ought to be interesting. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to bump out of here and we're going to jump right into the screen. Here you can see, folks, it definitely made it to e-commerce bytes, and I'm sure it made it to a lot of other sites. I didn't check Down Detector recently. For those who don't know what Down Detector is a website that talks about it gives you information on other websites that have been down due to website issues, logon issues, and so forth, and you can check it out by going to downdetector.com. Anyway, for those who are new to my subscriber, to my YouTube channel, I'd like to say thank you for all the new subscribers, and for those who are just coming in, if you just happen to catch me, you happen to hit this YouTube channel and you're wondering what it's all about. My name is Rjpasini. I do the Reseller News. I also do sneak peek videos, demo videos, and intro videos on merchandise that will be put up on eBay. Today, I also want to just touch bases on this, that when I do the Reseller News, I go to different websites. As you can see up here, I have some screens open here, some URLs open. I do not read verbatim. So if I go to each of these here, I am not going to read the whole story. That's totally up to you. But I do tell you where I get the information from, so you know I'm not pulling it out of the air. Okay, and this one here is from ecommercebytes.com. As you can see here, this one was posted for June 23rd. I'm sorry I couldn't do the Reseller News that day. I was kind of busy doing something else. But anyway, old news, I guess, is just as good, right? It says eBay resets the number of watches to 0. Person had wrote in, says, Dear Ina. Ina is the person who started and founded, I believe, e-commerce bytes. It says, Dear Ina, yesterday with 100 plus eBay listings, all of a sudden every listing reset to 0. As to the number of watches per listing, some of the listings had 10 or more people watching. Since then, few listings have showed 1 or 2 watches appear, but none of the prior watch numbers have returned. I would ask eBay, what good is information if it's inaccurate? And the person's name is Bill. Then it says over here, update, another letter that came in yesterday. This is another one that was given to Einar. It says eBay having watch list problems. I release about 50 items per day, so I have pretty steady number of watched items day to day. I noticed this number dwindling over the past several days, with about 50% fewer watched items now over the past few days. Checking watched items today, I see that most recently watched item was relisted 6 days ago. This is extremely unusual for me, as there will be a few watches to newly listed items each day. Curious as to whether watched items are going unreported as item views are, or if eBay users are unable to watch items. Thanks, C. Folks, we all know this is an ongoing issue, and I do feel bad for the person that's going through this situation right now. I don't know. I just wanted to share this with you guys. I don't know if you are aware, but have you been calling up eBay customer support lately? I've been on the phone for multiple minutes now. Last call I just called up before it was in regards to changing the category on a listing, and I noticed the wait time now is being a lot longer now to get in touch with a teammate. I don't know if you guys experience the same thing, but I have. Now I don't know. Maybe they got my number up there. It's being flagged that whenever this guy calls, put him on hold, make him wait. But it just seems like every time, I know it's not just me, I'm just kidding around, but you never know. But I noticed a few times I called, I've been on the phone for quite some time. I told you the other day, I think in my last video, I was on the phone for 31 minutes before actual teammate actually got in touch with me. But the reason why you're probably wondering why I called up eBay is in regards to, I wanted to update a listing, okay? And with that, what happened was how I explained to the person asked for an item number. I couldn't give him an item number for the simple reason I was unable to update the listing. What I wanted to do was take an old listing, a stagnant one that's been sitting around for God knows how long, and revitalize it with something totally different. So I said, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I said, I have listings up there that date back to 2017, and the reason why they're that long, I know people might say, well, if it's that old, you should be taking them off and doing whatever, but you shouldn't have them that long. And it's true. I'm at fault about that. But that's either here or there. Now, so I explained to the teammate, and I said, this is what I want to do. I said, I want to go into an existing listing that's been sitting there for a long, long time, okay? Over a year, whatever. And I said, I want to totally change it. So I just used the example of a book. I said, this book has been sitting on eBay for over a year, and I want to go in there, I want to revise the listing and change it to something totally different. So I know I was able to do this once before and it worked. The second time I wanted to change it, it didn't work. It said, you need to change the category. And I kept trying it over again. Then I changed a couple categories. So well, let me see, maybe it's just the system. Maybe it's a fluke, it's a fluky system. I went back and forth. They kept doing it. That's when I ended up calling eBay and I explained to the gentleman. He comes back to me with minutes later. Like I said, the service it's tanking. I don't think the service is as good as it used to be. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry to the eBay diehards, but this ship is sinking. And all it needs is one more hole and then it's going down, I think. Now, seriously, yeah, I'm not joking around. I'm being serious. He comes back and tells me that's against eBay's rule or policy. You have to start a new listing. Now, look, if eBay is going through their own little, financial crisis over there, so are we as sellers. We're going through financial crisis too. Okay? As long as their site is messed up, okay, we are not making money. Although, I will say this, which I found kind of odd. I did get two sales yesterday. Nothing to write home about. Very cheap sales. I don't even think it's enough to pay a cell phone bill. But, whatever, okay? I mean, I'm grateful. I took the best offers. Was I excited? Well, I was a little happy about it. Nothing to write home about, like I said again, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm doing a lot of complaining. I noticed my video, the one I did there, are your views, are your eBay views, no views, hurting your eBay sales or something along that line. I did a video a couple days back. It's getting a lot of traction, by the way. I'm getting enough response on it, and it seems to be like that's like a focal point on that particular video. And again, for those who don't know me, I am not trying to bash eBay or hurt eBay in any size, shape or form. That's not what I'm all about. The purpose of the Reseller News is to share and help. That's why I call it the His Initiative. Help, share, and inspire. All right? Yeah, that's it. Help, inspire, and share. That's it. Sorry about it. I got it out of order there. That's what it's all about, the His Initiative. That's what this channel is all about, folks. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But the reason why I am regrouping on that one there about the no views and talking about the update on the listing is, I don't know if any of you guys out there, or women I should say, had experienced the same thing like I have. I told the person, I said, I'm not making any more listings. I said, I want to use my existing listings that I have that have stagnant sales. I mean, they're not sales. They're not getting no views. I'm not getting any feedback. And again, of course, because because of what's going on right now with eBay's algorithm and their system is not fully functional, I could see that happening. But apparently it got to the point where it made it to e-commerce bites. I know I'm jumping all around, folks. I would like to try to keep this short and sweet. But you know me, sometimes when I get into these I guess you could call them a semi-kind of rant, semi-rant, it gets me going. And I really was tweaked when a person said, about revising an existing listing I already paid for. I should be entitled to it, right? I mean, if I want to change something, if I want to put something totally different, what's the big deal? You already got paid, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. But as far as like the service, I don't know if anybody out there has been experiencing the same thing like I have. The service is terrible. It really is. And and that's the other thing I want to talk about really quick. Tomorrow, eBay Radio is on. And despite what everything is going on with eBay, you never hear the talk show host always talk, bringing these things up. You won't hear about the no views. You'll hear about the online sales tax. All right, I gotta say, I have to give kudos to them in that respect. They do talk about the sales tax, online sales tax. Excuse me. In regards to how it's going to affect online sellers, and it would be nice if they could talk about other issues, about the no views, about eBay search. Now, I just read in the thread that there was a seller that put something in the thread on e-commerce, on the eBay community, and it's kind of lengthy. So I don't know if I'm going to read that whole thing, but maybe parts of it. But you might want to check it out. But anyway, let's get back to the reseller news. Let's go back to the other websites there, and we'll take it from there. Excuse me. Okay. Here we have, I gotta put my glasses back on again to read this here. It says here, we got over here another one. I think we went over this one here. I was unable to watch. We went to that one there. And again, if you guys are new to this channel and you're new to this particular website, this is called ecommercebites.com. You could read the stories if you would like to. I put the information out there to share with you guys. So if you're interested in following up on this stuff, you're more than welcome. I always like to read the comments too. Over here it says question, it is what good is information of watches. I don't care how many people are watching, more interested in buyers. Watches is just another useless number hanging on the auction, onto the auction. That's true. I have a lot of watches on my stuff, and to be honest with you, it's not doing anything. I'm thinking they're going to make a purchase soon, but it doesn't make it, it doesn't do anything for me. But anyway, you could check this one out here. I want to get back into this one here. This is with Quill this is what the, as we'll talk about the online sales tax. It says over here, even if you're a small online, it says, well, here's the title over here. With Quill Protection gone, what your online sellers do. This came out on June 23rd. That was, I believe, Saturday. And this is what it says. Even if you're a small online seller with a presence in a single state, should you immediately start collecting sales tax or from your out-of-state buyers? That's going to question that many minds that after Thursday's Supreme Court ruling in South Dakota versus Wayfair. And then it tells you to see the article in e-commerce bites. I don't know if I clicked it on or not. I might have. Let's see what happens here. Well, I'm not going to get into it because we'll be... All right. I clicked it. Let's see what happens here. It says over here, Supreme Court throws out long-standing sales tax rulebook. But again, I don't know. This is not like an open shut case right now, folks. This is still pending. So we, whatever, despite we read who's ever posting stuff on here on these different sites, like the old saying goes, believe what you see and only half of what you hear. Don't take things, too much in perspective what you're reading on the internet. I'm not saying the e-commerce bite is pretty good. Like I said, I get a lot of information from them. But let me go back to this one here again with the Quill story here. As you can see here, it's still in the making. It says we asked some vendors about sales tax service for their advice, and this guy here said Mark Freilich, excuse me, Esquire's whatever CPA and Senior Director of Tax and Accounting North America for Walters Clue Publisher whatever, said in the under the 1992 Quill ruling, the interpretation of the Commerce Clause was substantial nexus. required to justify imposition of the sales tax with the physical presence. The way I understood it back in the day, well, from what I understand now, if you have, I said this in my other videos, if you have if you're doing business in a nexus to your state, like I said, I'm in the state of New York, so I collect all the sales tax that I get from the New Yorkers. But if you are that do have, let's say, like Amazon, I mean, they got probably satellite offices, distribution centers in different parts of the states. They will be required to collect sales tax and give those sales tax to the state in which they have a physical presence. I don't have physical presence in 45 states, except out in New York. And like I said, most likely a lot of eBays, I can't speak for all eBay sellers, but I'm sure a lot of them are working out of their homes, such as I. So for that matter, again, well, this is going to go in full operation, I don't know. But if it was to work like that there, it's going to be a nightmare for a lot of people. Okay, and like I said again, if you listen to eBay Radio, when they do bring up the topic about online sales tax, it's they're pretty concerned. And the person, Griff, he works for eBay. He said it too. A couple of the shows, he said that this could be very devastating for sellers, online sellers. Okay, so it is a pretty serious matter. So let's see how it plays out. But let's keep going along here. I'm not going to read too much of this stuff about the online sales tax. You could go to like I said, go to e-commerce bites and you could see the stories here. I'm not going to read them all. I'm not going to even read them. I'm just going to point them out to you, the different websites here. It's the same one, but different topics. You could check that one out. Here's over here. It says eBay urges Congress to act in the wake of sales tax ruling. Again, eBay stepping into the picture. It says eBay called on Congress to provide clear rules on small business exemption after Supreme Court ruled in South Dakota versus Wayfair. Today's decision overruled a 1992 Quill Corp versus North Dakota case that prevented states from requiring retailers with no physical nexus presence, that means, in the state to collect sales tax from its residents. And it says over here, according to eBay, today's decision states that the South Dakota applies only to sellers who engage in a significantly quantity of business in the state. Okay. You can read the rest of this here. I'll just read the last part. eBay wrote, the court was very clear about the importance of protecting small businesses from unfair burdens. If the state tax authority is attempting to subject to remote small businesses to audits and lawsuits, that'd be great. There will be an increase in litigation across the country to protect small business from the unfair burdens. You can read more about that, and if you go to the auction blog, and you could check it out. And then it says over here, eBay corporate blog post follows, and then you could just read some more. It goes down here, like I said, and then these are some of the comments. Like I said, you could check it out. Just go to that site, ecommercebites.com. Same thing over here. This is the thread I was talking about. I'm going to bump that. Let me get the rest of these out of here, folks. I don't want to keep talking about the sales tax because we know what's going on with that. Let me get out of these because these are all... I know this one here I wanted to check out too. This was about the small sellers are hit by sales tax here, but that's what I want. I want to go into this one right here for now, folks. Here, someone wrote here a really important eBay forum thread about search, and the person writes over here, "Dear Ina, in my despair surrounding what's been happening on eBay for sellers since late 2017, I looked through their boards and found this thread. It describes exactly what I've been experiencing. I want to jump ship so badly, but there's nowhere to comparable to go. Anyway, thought you might find it interesting, Vivian." Okay, now I'm going to click on that there, and I'm going to show you that that thread that they're talking about. Here it says over here, this is kind of a long thread. I think even a person apologizing here. So that's right. This one came out on June 20th, 2018. eBay statistics inaccurate, search broken, impression issues since the start of 2018. This is the person who put it up, Thrill Seeker, Zamozon. It says it's going to be a very long post, but I ask you to please bear with me, especially if you have been having the problems on eBay. If you had similar issues, please comment or upvote so that this can get some exposure. And then it goes on to say This is not just another sales or down post. I have found a number of issues that are solid indication that the problem in eBay is in the eBay system, and and I have many screenshots and examples and evidence. And then it goes on to say, at this point, I believe the only way this problem is going to be found and resolved is to go public with it to get some attention on the issue. And then it says over here, find people, find enough people it's happening to, and maybe find a common denominator to see what's happening. In 3 months since the most recent issue began, eBay has not been able to give us any information at all on how we can improve the situation. eBay does not seem to care or even have a team designated for assisting with these problems. That is the problem. And this is something new now with the search thing, because I don't really talk about the search. If you quite remember, I might have done something with search, but I really was getting on the issue with the no views. This one is new to me as far as with the search. So I will say this, in my other videos I did talk about when I did call up customer service, they did said even though you're getting no views, you will show up in search, and that is not true, because I did check one of my listings, or a couple listings, and I did not see them show up in search. So what this guy is referring to, or person is referring to, I believe, like I said, whatever this glitch is going on within eBay, it is a big problem, folks. This is big. This is a big problem. He's got kind of a long post over here, as you can see. Looks at the Declaration of Independence. Look how far it goes down. These are his screenshots. If you want to read it, it's in the and this is on their post, people. It's on there, the eBay community. Okay. Again, this was done over here on 6/20/2018. It's not old. It's not 3 years old, 4 years old. This is this month. Okay, 5 days ago. You could scroll down, and he's got active hyperlinks to show you the screenshot. If you click them on, I'll click one on, for example, and it'll bring up this here. Compared to prior period, 31 days. It says over here, you and market 20% down, market, I guess 10%, and then it's over here again, 41% you, which is showing down, and the market is 6.5%. So you can see, look, these are his. I guess these are his listings here, right? Listing impressions. That's, I guess, how many he has up, and that's what it's showing you, 29.4% down. Okay. Now you could click on the rest of these here. I guess, and do a comparison, see from time, from month to month or whatever, and see how how his sales had dropped significantly, along with everybody else's. I feel bad for him, the person. I really do. I wish there could be more. I wish I had information to help people like that, and I wish I had a definitive way of telling people, oh yeah, well, the eBay, I make a video about eBay's telling us it's going to be corrected tomorrow. I've been hearing something about in July, but who knows? It might even go longer than that, folks. But anyway, if you want to check this thread out, you can check it out. And then, of course, when you go to these threads, this guy wrote a lot. Wow. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to read this here. I always like to read the replies. And he got 149 replies in this here. And I'm not sure if this was the one here. And he's even responding, too, with the large. There's one over here. It might be on another one where the person was talking a little about it. I can't seem to find it right here. Let's see. He's got a lot of responses. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If I find it, I'll post it up. I'll put a little capture on it. But anyway, you could check that out. This one here is on eBay community. Okay. If you go to e-commerce bytes, you can get the the hyperlink, and you can hyperlink to this story here and read it. I don't have time to read the whole thing. I'll get tongue-tied. But anyway, so I'm going to bump out of that, bump out of this here. This was when you clicked on one of those things here, they show you the court documentation over here. Not that anybody wants to be interested in that, but I thought, just share it with you. And let's see. Over here, yes, eBay urges contract. We told Congress to act on the wake of sales tax ruling. I think we talked a little about that. And then it says over here, this with the small sellers hit hard by the Supreme Court sales tax. I just got to read a couple of these here, and that's it. And I want to bump out of this here. It says, another shining example of money talks. This tax is sponsored and pushed by the stores like Walmart because the small seller is taking a bite out of the big box retailers that do not have to pay tax. But unfortunately, only the buyers will get hurt by this. And it says over here, they're the ones that have to pay the tax. The sellers won't have to take it out of their pocket. And it goes on here. Let's see if Congress had this person. Let's see if Congress acts. I don't see a case where the states figure out it takes more money to collect sales tax than actual tax to start to hit sellers with the fees and sellers in their states. Strange days ahead. I will not collect sales tax for another state. If the selling platform I sell on wants to collect and remit the taxes, so be it. But I'm not going to do the extra work for nothing. It's not going to happen, and no one on earth can make me do it. Well, you know what? It's simple as this. It's simple enough. If you don't comply with eBay and collect the sales tax, one of two things will happen. They'll most likely give you a warning, or they will, cancel your account. What do you call it there? They'll void and null your account, and then you'll have to do business elsewhere. And if you say, well, okay, I'll go to eBay, Amazon, or I'll go to Etsy. If if they're going to file in compliance with the New York State tax, the New York State tax with the taxes, online sales tax, you're going to be compelled to do it. There's no way you're going to get out of it. We could all sit there and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But if you want to do business, then you're going to have to collect sales tax, plain and simple. I told people in one of my videos, in regards to if you're a person that doesn't want to collect sales tax and you want to do it a little different, because but I'm still, like I said again, as I said earlier in my video, you still should be tax compliant. So if you do garage sales or yard sales, whatever, if you still go to thrift stores and you sell the merchandise that you pick up at thrift stores and your yard sales on a weekly basis or weekend basis, you should be collecting that money and listing as a hobby income, and put it on your W-2 forms, your tax forms. If you want to be tax compliant, how many people are going to do that? I don't know. All I know is that that's the way I would do it. Here's another one over here. It's going to be the last one. As I understand, the seller of the record will be responsible for collection, payment of state taxes. With the advent of Aiden, eBay will be a seller of record. Okay. Like I said earlier, folks, that's going to be a nuisance for me, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of hassles for a lot of people. Let alone what's going on with eBay as well. The other thing I just want to touch base with really quick, I just want to respond to a comment that a person had responded to me on the YouTube channel in regards to when is this problem going to be fixed? You still experience problem? Yes, yes, I am experiencing a problem like all the other sellers. I'm nothing special. In regards to getting it fixed, the only thing I read in other threads is that a down detector, I believe it was, that someone had stated it can go into July. So I don't know what to tell anybody. Like I said in my other videos, I wish there was something I could do to, give you a positive answer and say, hey, this is what it's going to, this is what's happening. This is what eBay said. I've called them up pretty much last week, almost just about every day, complaining to them, I figured the more I call up, maybe they will, get on it. The only thing they do when you do call up a lot, if you are a frequent caller like me that keeps calling up, and I'm not calling to break their chops, I just want a status report, you're going to find that it's going to be the same story over and over again. They don't have a timestamp on it. They cannot tell you when it's going to be up. Each time I called up, I said, do you have an idea of when this is going to be corrected? And I stated to them, to the teammates, the reason why I stated to them, because they may be new and they might not know about it, but I told them, just as I'm telling you guys, this dates back to 2013. Okay, so it's nothing new, and God knows it might have went even further back. Okay, the only reason why I'm starting to get more involved with this here is because, like I said, for those who don't know my situation, when I lost my job to a layoff back in June of 2016, I started becoming more involved with eBay. And as time goes on, I've been reading a lot of blog sites. I get eBay alert. I get Google alerts from about eBay and Amazon and Etsy, and and then like I said, I signed up with e-commerce bites. I start learning a lot more, and I'm becoming more aware of what other people are experiencing within the eBay selling platform. Now, I don't know about Amazon. I don't know about Etsy if they have issues like this going on their sites, but all I know is right now, because I sell exclusively on eBay, outside of Bonanza, which is really nothing to write home about. No offense, Bonanza, you're a good site. I only made 10 sales since I've been with you, and I became a top-rated seller. So I'm not knocking Bonanza. It's a good selling platform, but it would work for me. Anyway, that's the ongoing issue though, and there's nothing, like I said, that I could come up and give you anything new. The only thing I wanted to share with you earlier is in regards to updating or revitalizing an old listing with something totally new. The teammate came back and said that's against eBay's policy. You're not allowed to, you can't do that. They want you to create a new listing, and that I refuse to do. Okay, because first off, I have 330 something listings out there. Not a lot. I mean, to me, to other people, that's like a drop in the bucket. There's people got thousands of listings out there. I'm a small time guy on here. So, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, I can't, I don't have, super exceeded funds where I can go out and source every day. I don't have a big giant warehouse where I could store all this stuff. So for me, for the little stuff I do have, it's enough for me to keep me going if there's sales. But that's the issue going on with this right now, folks. And like I said again, I don't want to keep the reseller news too long. I do like to do little tidbits of information, just throw little blurbs out there and keep you posted what's going on. The only thing I could say, as I hope I responded to that person who did follow me in regards to, if I'm experiencing a problem, is it fixed yet? No, it's not. It's like I said, it's still the same thing. I just looked about 2 minutes ago, and now instead of having zeros, I got all dashes on all 2 pages of my listings. And as I said again, some people may beg to differ and say, oh, well, the no views does not affect sales. That's not what I heard from a teammate on eBay. Okay, a teammate eBay told me, and I heard it right from the horse's mouth, so to speak, said that yes, it does affect sales. Okay, so I don't know. This is what they told me. I'm just repeating what I heard. Okay, like I said again, this YouTube channel, folks, is not to hurt anybody, to blackball, make a bad, put a bad label on a company. It's nothing of the sort. This YouTube channel is to help people out, such as you, as a seller or a buyer, and myself. When I post stuff or I talk about I do the reseller news, I'm learning just like you guys are. It's all news. It's new news to me, but and that's what I'm putting it out for. Okay, like I said before in my other videos, I don't just pick stories out and make them up in my head just to make a YouTube channel. That's not what I'm all about. If I was going to do something like that, I'd tell you, hey, I do crazy things. I talk about this topic, that topic, whatever, and this is what I'm all about. It's like a Seinfeld show, a show about nothing. That's what I mean, like a YouTube channel about nothing. What is it all about? It's nothing. I'm not here to do a channel like that. My channel, like I said again, as I said earlier, I call it the His Initiative. Help, inspire, and share. That's what it's all about, folks. That's what this channel is all about. And I hope people that do hit it, land on this channel, you get a takeaway from it. If you're watching some of my videos, you can say, you know what, I get it. I know where the guy's coming from. I understand his feelings, how he feels towards certain things. I get what he's talking about. That's what it's all about. That's what it all boils down to, folks. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I just did, I went yesterday to a thrift store for a little bit just to get out, get away from the computer, because you spend too much time on this thing, you'll go store crazy. I just broke away for a little bit, for about maybe an hour or two, walked around the store. I picked up a couple of little items, nothing much, nothing to write home about. I uploaded them, but I said again, I did not create brand new listings. What I did was, to save the money, I just took old listings that have been around for over a year, 6 months or whatever, and I just, instead of spending another 35 cents, I just took them out, changed the category, took out the pictures, changed my description, and that's it. And I uploaded new stuff, but I used an old listing to do it. And if you're a person like me that's on a budget and tries to watch your spending, you may want to do the same thing, folks. He told me that's restricted, you couldn't do it, because I said, how come I can't change the category? He goes, so that's what I told the guy. I said, wait, you restricted my account where I can't change the categories? He says, well, no, not that. He goes, that's against eBay's policy. He goes, they want you to do a new listing. but I just paid for the listing. What difference does it make if I take out an old thing, it's not being shown anymore, and I just implement it with a new one? What's the big deal? You know? But it worked. It worked. Somehow it worked. I did it that way. And you know, and if you try it and it doesn't work for you, then check your browser settings. Maybe you got to refresh or clear out the browser history, whatever, clear the cache. But it worked for me. I am not going to do any more insertion fees or listing new things. I will use old listings. And how you find out the old listings, when you click on your listing, look at the start date. I have stuff that goes back to 2017. That's how old it is. So, you know, hey, but I'm on good to cancel. And I think eventually I'm going to have to change that up around. I don't know if I'm going to be doing I might change it to just 30 days because there's good to cancel stuff. I don't know, you know. I'm not too crazy about it. You know, the other thing is, and also in lieu of that question, the person was talking about opting in for promoted listings, folks. You know, when I messaged back to the person, I said I was not crazy about promoted listings. To me personally, I don't think it actually works. But that's my take. And the reason why I say that is because I follow other eBay sellers, and for the couple I found that I follow, some said it's okay, it helps a little, and then there was some out there that said it didn't do anything for me. Me, I don't want a store. I don't own an eBay store. I don't want one. To me, it's a burden and it's a poor investment, because for the simple reason, outside the little perks that you get, well, if you're a heavy hitter, you know, a big top-rated seller, and you sell a lot of items, you know, you get all the perks with with having a store. I don't need a store. My items are going to sell just like yours, whether you have a store or not, whether you use promoted listings or not. My stuff is going to sell just like yours. And with promoted listings, let's face the facts. If you got so many thousands of people promoting the same thing, what are your chances? That's when people sit there saying, geez, I use promoted listings. And you know, I'm sorry, folks, but I feel bad for people that get entrapped in these things, because the simple reason is, you know, because somebody that works at a company tells you something, people believe it. And that's the sad part. You know, when you listen to eBay radio and you hear these other top-rate sellers that come on, you could go on it too. You could go on there and talk and voice your opinion. I don't know if they're going to, if you bring up this topic about no views, they're going to probably screen the calls. I think they're probably, well, what topic you want? I don't know if they ask. I never called up, but I don't know if they're going to ask and say, well, what do you want to talk about? And if you say, well, I want to talk about eBay no views, they might say, well, we don't really discuss that on the show. That you might want to do with customer service off. Why? Because you probably have so many, I don't know how many thousands of people listen to eBay radio, but they probably have probably a decent following, and the last thing they need to do is have somebody like myself or somebody else go on and say, hey, you know, how come eBay has a problem with it's an ongoing problem with no views? Why ain't they fixing that? How come it's been going on for 6 years? Can't they get their act together? You know, and then when are you gonna have a cyber war on the thing there? You on the with the voice marketing radio, because that's who puts it out. It's a problem. And like I said again, like I said many times over in my other videos, it's been going on since 2013, and it may have went further back. But it is what it is, folks. And as far as like advice, if anybody was to ask me for any advice, like, well, what do you recommend? Do you think what do you think you should do? You know, for the real quote unquote newbies that come in, what am I going to tell them? The same thing everybody else is going to tell them? Well, you could get stuff around your house to start. Throw it up there, maybe put up maybe 4 or 5 or 10 items, see how it does. And then if it's slow, you could always try promoted listings. Well, on eBay Radio, they'll advise you not to get a store unless you really deem that, you know, that it's necessary. Me, I don't care. I don't want no stores. I'd rather just pay the insertion fees, whatever. I know people say, yeah, but if you're a big power seller and you sell thousands of items a month, well, then maybe I would think about it if I'm going to get a good incentive with it, for the most part. But right now, I don't need that. That's a burden I don't need. I got enough bills with eBay paying for their insertion fees for listings that don't show no views on them. Why would I want to have a store? I don't know. Maybe when you have a store they don't do that. I don't know. But anyway, folks, I'm gonna close out this. What do you got for now? Not close out my account. Just I'm gonna end this video here. If anybody has any comments or suggestions, or you want to leave some information below, please do. If you want to leave me a comment talking about this video, please don't hesitate. I respond to comments unless I'm super busy where I can't, but I guarantee it I'll get to you at some point for the most part. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that, despite what's going on with all of this stuff, there's no views and that other thing with searches I showed you earlier. If you think that's up to snuff, if you really think it's legit, I like e-commerce bites. I take what they say for what it's worth, and I do believe in them. I don't, these sites like that, like e-commerce bites, it's not a site that you say, oh, maybe people just go in there and they talk a little about this, a little about that, and they don't know what they're talking about. These are people, I'm sure, that are seasoned sellers. That when I say seasoned, meaning they've been on eBay for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. And they're diehard eBay people. They're selling merchandise. They're doing good in sales. I don't know how the others are doing. Just to sum it up in a nutshell, I don't know. I don't know if there are people out there that have thousands and thousands of listings, how they're doing. I don't know, because they don't, unless they post it on a community chat, eBay community chat board, or they do a YouTube channel. I don't know. They may be doing very well, as opposed to people like me, might not do good. And then it was one of the things I read in the blog there, I think it was the e-commerce bites, someone had wrote in, they said, the larger the sales, the more you'll show up in the search or something like that. The more sales history you have, the larger the sales history, the greater you'll show up in search. I don't know. This is what somebody wrote on e-commerce bites as one of those blogs things. The blog, whatever you call it. And I remember reading that just before. I don't know. My take is, the way I look at it, I could be wrong. If you're a person that's a so-so seller and you don't make enough money, you don't make a lot of money for eBay, I would think that you're going to be on a lower echelon. You're going to be on a lower scale. Now, if you're a company like E4 City, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, they have millions and millions of feedback scored out, millions of feedback. And they also had, the last time I looked, I think they had something like 47 or 48,000 listings. But it's called E4 City. You can look them up. They got the platinum star, whatever, that shooting star thing there. Whenever you see that shooting star, folks, that's the person who's been selling X amount of thousands and thousands of items. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm just saying, if you want to shoot for a dream like that, shoot for the stars, so to speak. That's a shooting star, But it's kind of interesting now. It really is, and I just hope things pick up soon. Really, I mean, we still have another week before it's actually over. The 30th. I'm looking at the calendar. The 30th is Saturday, right? Yeah. So it's Monday. Let's see what happens. I mean, all we could do is keep our fingers crossed and hope that eBay will get their act together and somehow get this. But this has to be the worst I've ever seen it, folks. Honestly, this has to be the worst I've seen a glitch like this. I mean, I know it dates back to 6 years ago, but there's so much stuff going on. I mean, there are more and more people, even on my Facebook group, talking about it and stuff, and Down Detector and other areas, other groups and stuff like that, social media, that they can't believe what's going on with eBay. It's really, and you want to know the funny thing? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You could message me in a comment and say, Rich, you're wrong. But listen to eBay Talk Radio. It goes on tomorrow. I'm on the East Coast. It goes on 2 p.m. And the way to get there is voicemarketing.com, something like that. Click on Listen Live. You will most likely are going to hear about the online sales tax. I might throw that blurb out there, but I bet you You will not hear about no views issues or no search issues on there, unless somebody calls up with one question and then kind of like sneaks it in. That's the only way you're going to probably get in, you know. But I encourage people. I won't call up. I'm kind of like shy to talk on the radio. But if you don't want to call up, you can message them, do live messaging. They have a live message board, and you could when they're live on the radio, you could whether they're going to answer your message or not. That's a whole other different story. I don't know. Depends what it is. If it's anything a derogative remark towards eBay, I would have to say it's not going to be on the air. If I had to take a guesstimation, I would say it's definitely not going to be on the air. Well, who wants? Look, eBay Radio is to give you a positive uplifting. It's not supposed to. When you listen to that radio, you're supposed to. After that show's over, 2-hour show, whatever. Monday or Tuesday, I think it's 3 hours, right? 2, 3, 4, something like that. Yeah, it's on for a number of hours, and when you after you listen to eBay Radio, you got to come out there and say, you know what, I feel good, man. I'm good. I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna nail this thing. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it work. It's all positive. It's all positive talk. You're not gonna get people coming on there. For the times I've listened to them, I never really heard anybody bashing eBay on radio. Okay, they may throw a little innuendo out there, skirt around the question, but you never really hear bad stuff. But if anybody hears anything about no views, they should talk about it. But again, I messaged Griff about it, the radio talk show host, the guy that works at eBay. He did message me back, and he asked my user ID, and I gave it to him. He said, he received it. He received it, and I thought maybe he was going to get back to me and say, oh, well, I'll let you know. I think he said, I'll let you know what happens. And nobody ever got back to me. So what's there to get back? The system's broken, Anyway, guys, have a great day. I wish you all the best. Good luck in your selling for those who are making sales. I wish you all the best. Let's see how it plays out. June's going to be an interesting month. I think July's actually going to be an interesting month, but I'm thinking at the end of the month, if they're saying like Congress is going to wait to the end of the month for to see what that online sales tax is going to be like, that's going to be pretty interesting, folks. But anyway, let's not worry about it right now. Let's just try to make sales, stay positive, stay focused, and we'll see what happens. It's Rjpasini signing off for the Reseller News. It's June 25th, 2018. Have a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.